Hi my dear students, again welcome you for video lecturing. Today we are conducting a class on Young's modulus. What do you mean by Young's modulus? So Young's modulus is basically which is invented by the scientist named Young's, that nothing but which is a constant. Young's modulus is a constant which relates to the property of the material of stress of any material divided by strain of that particular material. So assuming we are taking a chalk piece is a material. So what will be the property? Nothing but stress of the particular chalk piece divided by strain of the chalk piece. That will be the Young's modulus constant for value of Young's modulus. Usually which is denoted by E. Usually E is called as a Young's modulus constant. Stress of any material divided by strain of that particular material is known as Young's modulus. So, for example, for steel, the property of the Young's modulus of the stress by strain will be usually stress is denoted by stress is equals to P by A whole divided by strain is E. That is nothing but delta L divided by L. Suppose, for example, I am considering an iron material. Say the length of the material is 10 centimeter. So while applying the load on this particular material, the stress will be denoted by P by A, strain will be change in length by original length. So the diameter of the material, for you can say 1 centimeter. So I am applying the load on this material. How much the stress developed, that will be P by A. For that particular same material, I am applying the strain, nothing but change in length by original length. So here I am applying the load, that will be original length is delta L, original length is L, deformed length is delta L. So ultimately the unit will be Newton per mm square whole divided by, we can consider mm get cancelled. So the unit of the Young's modulus is again Newton per mm square. So for this discussion we can conclude that Young's modulus is a constant which will be constant for particular materials. For example, steel, Young's modulus will be 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. So if we are considering with the iron, that will be slightly lesser, or wood, wrought iron 1.9 or 1.8 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. How you will calculate Young's modulus? We will know with respect to one derivation. So that is the most probable question which is asked in the examination, that is stress strain relationship of mild steel. Stress strain relationship of mild steel. Stress strain relationship of mild steel. So here I have taken a specimen of mild steel and one more is an iron. So what is the difference between this mild steel, iron, copper? So only the thing in mild steel as well as iron, the percentage of the carbon content which varies. So this specimen is called as a mild steel specimen. Why particularly mild steel is had to be taken? Because we can study stress strain relationship property in detail with the help of mild steel. So here I will plot a one graph. Y-axis I have taken as a stress, x-axis strain. some modifications to be done for this particular specimen, because usually at the both ends, say we call it as an end A and end B. So both side there is an hatched portion. Usually we will call it as an knurling operation, because in the UTM there will be two jaws. Upper jaw, lower jaw. So experimental setup, this will be our specimen. So this one is, you can call it as an upper jaw and this will be a lower jaw. So for gripping operation, this hatched portion should be knurling operation. So that's why we can hold together with a full friction, without friction. So while placing the specimen in the UTM machine, we should be careful. The both ends have been completely fixed, and we should measure the distance. With the help of chalk piece, we need to mark here to here the distance between the specimen. So you can call this as an initial length L. For example, 10 cm. Usually 10 cm will be there, 9.5, 10. So I will take it as a 10 cm. That will be an initial length. Initial length. And for example, say the diameter is 1 cm. How you will calculate the area? Area will be pi d square by formula. Pi d square by 4. Now we need to find out the stress. Stress will be P by A. Strain will be delta L by L. We need around 4 data, that is L, diameter, as well as P, nothing but load. Delta L, changing length, L, original length. So while taking, we need to plot a table. So here I will take a serial number, load, L, delta L, change in displacement, one more thing, P by A. If you want, you can find out stress of Young's modulus. So let us start off with the procedure. So this one is the specimen for used for stress strain relationship for mild strain. So I will place the specimen like this. For this particular case, we need to apply the tensile load. So tensile load is nothing but one force is moving upward and one more force will be moving downwards. Up, down. So after placing the specimen, we need to apply the gradual loading, not a sudden loading. We need to apply the gradual loading. Hence, the stress strain will be from the table. This will be stress, and one more thing we need to do, strain, delta L by L. So initial length is common, 10 cm for the throughout the experiment. However, increasing the load, strain will be goes on increasing the load, the length of the specimen will be goes on increasing. Automatically, when the stress length is goes on increasing, strain is also goes on increasing. Again, changing the variation of stress. So initially we take it as a 0. Whenever we are applying the load, initially this will be in a state of elastic. That is nothing but assume I am applying around 10 kilonewton, 20 kilonewton, 30 kilonewton load. However, the specimen remains in a same position and in a same condition. So initially the stress strain relationship of the mild strain will be a straight line. So this particular limit is known as a limit of proportionality. And also this we can call it as a Hooke's law. This is the most repetitive question asked in the VTU examination. Define Hooke's law. Hooke's law is nothing but when we are applying the stress on a particular material, if the material satisfies stress is directly proportional to strain, then we can call it as an Hooke's law. What it indicates, whenever stress goes on increasing, strain is also goes on increasing. Assume stress increases to 1%, strain is also increasing. Don't consider about the percentage. Anyhow, if the stress goes on increasing, strain is also goes on increasing. So this point you can call it as an A point, and this will be your B point. The indication of the AB is nothing but still the material in the place state of elastic. So we are applying the rule. After the removal, again it comes to same size and shape. After B, yielding will be happening. Yielding is nothing but whenever the continuous increase in the load, which starts yielding is nothing but which will never come to its original size and shape, starts deforming. This will be called as an upper yielding. So you can call this as a point C. After this slight decrease in the value of stress strain, nothing but stress will be decreased, strain is increased. The whole data should be taken from this table only. While conducting the experiment in the material testing lab, you will get to know in detail. Whenever the graph of the ABC slightly goes on decreasing, again it will be in same position. After that, it will reach its position like upper yielding, and we can call this a point as a lower yielding. Upper yielding as well as a lower yielding. And the last point, that is nothing but U point. You can call this as an ultimate stress. Ultimate point means more than this position, more than this point, the material will not supposed to take any action of loads, any stresses and any strain. So this one is the maximum limit of the taking. After that, breaking point. After reaching ultimate, breaking point. While conducting the experiment, just you need to go on writing the readings. That is load, change in deformation, load, change in deformation. After getting the results, you need to calculate the stress as well as strain. Then you need to plot the graph. So from, once again I am repeating, from A to B, proportionality limit, then B to C, upper yielding, C to D, lower yielding, and point U, ultimate stress, last one, breaking point. So ultimate nothing but which is a maximum limit, threshold limit. More than this point, the material will never take any loads. So that one is the ultimate point. So before the application of the load, the material will be like this. After the application of the load and when it breaks, I cannot show the experimental setup here. When you are starting the experiment in the laboratory, you will get to know the material will be failure like this. Nothing but cone and cup formation. Coning and cup formation. So this one is nothing but after the application of the load. Initially the specimen will be like this. After the application of the load, which increase in the length, you can see here clearly neck formation has been done. Neck formation, like ours, neck formation will be going on. So the length of the specimen has been increased. That is delta L. The change in the length, nothing but elongated length, is nothing but the strain of this particular material. So this will be cup formation and this will be cone formation. Cup and cone formation will be making the application of the stress as well as strain. So for the exam point of view, this may be asked for 10 to 12 marks. So from the beginning of Hooke's law, Young's modulus, stress, strain and experimental setup procedure, and the main thing is this graph. All should be explained in detail. Now, till now we have discussed the stress strain relationship of mild steel. After that, we will go for stress strain relationship for wrought iron or nothing but other than mild steel, cast iron. One more material will be there, that is non-ferrous material. You can consider wood, or you can consider plastic, or you can consider as concrete. This we can consider as a wrought iron other than mild steel material. So in this particular material other than mild steel, the cup cone formation or nothing but what we have discussed, upper ending, lower ending, nothing will be there. The experimental setup is again same, considering A and B. Y-axis, x-axis, stress, strain. Again here also up to certain limit of proportionality, that is AB. After it reaches sudden failure. Here there will be no indication of any breaking point, ultimate point, upper ending, lower ending. Directly we will get a ultimate stress or breaking point. In the examination, if they ask stress strain relationship for mild steel, you need to explain the previous one. Other than mild steel, anyone asks, that will be nothing but the same thing. So here there will be no any formation of the neck as well as cone and cup formation, and there is no any yielding points. Directly ultimate in, you can call it as an ultimate or maximum or breaking point. So now, after discussing the stress strain relationship of mild steel, stress strain relationship of wrought iron, now let us say moving on to the cast iron. We can call it as a cast iron. Now I will move on to the factor of safety. Factor of safety. What do you mean by factor of safety? Suppose we are traveling in a bus. The passenger carrying capacity of the bus is limited to 50 passengers. In worst condition, you may full up to 60 to 65. What is this? This one is the maximum limit or ultimate limit of the passengers. So for the same, when I am considering the material, this will be having the two stresses. One is ultimate stress, another one is working stress. What do you mean by working stress? In the practical live example, while constructing any material or while using the any material, that will be suppose if the stress limit for cast iron, say 100, while working, which will be reducing. How much it is? 90. So 100% satisfaction will not be there in the working site condition because of the site condition or anything. So working is nothing but how much the material can resist with the practical applications in the field. That type of the stress is known as an working stress. So factor of safety is defined as ratio of ultimate stress to the working stress. Ultimate stress to the working stress. How you will define ultimate stress? Again same, ultimate load by area. Here working load by area. So the unit of the factor of safety is 0, nothing but no unit. So factor of safety will be treated as a constant. Whenever the factor of safety, while considering the ultimate stress to the working stress. Ultimate is nothing but a complete threshold limit of that particular material. Working stress is nothing but while making practical, how much quantity of load can be take, how much work should be done from this particular material is called as a working stress. Ultimate stress is a threshold limit. So for example, for steel, factor of safety is 3. Timber, it is around 12 to 16, depends on the timber. However, the factor of safety should be less, that will give the more precise values as well as the more safety features. Suppose while constructing and while we need to construct a one building with an 1000 kilonewton load, the daily service load will be around 500 to 600 kilonewton. Why we need to take 1000 kilonewton? That is its maximum limit. That is nothing but working. So always working limit will be lesser than the ultimate loads. So these are the examples for factor of safety. So in the next class we will go through the problems on factor of safety as well as the stress strain relationship of mild steel. Okay, thank you.